Man of the light, dressed in white, man of the light. Free running, riding as fast as the light. As a man of light, we sprint and free run and vault, climb, flip into a fight. Just like how we super heroic, right? With powerful strength and might and faith in the light, we rhyme into fight. Wielding the word, striking hard like a lion. Our sword saint, our noble sir. Compounded computational systems healed and very vigorous. The light of vigor in the fellowship, because to a hammer everything's a nail. Only all the ultra light side healer heroes will prevail. A light shaper of radiant runes, healing celestial cartoons. Beware the approval ratings, dialogue is changing. Approval ratings is providence. The maker sent us, the maker chose me, not you. Approval ratings, dude. Blessed with an expansive mind, sacred, holy, and divine. Be wise, scan off the white. Begins to ride a fellowship of men of light at his side. All of vigor's radiant runes memorized. Man of the light, dressed in white, man of the light. As a dwarf who divines the true meaning of runes, vigor wields powerful healing spells to bolster and protect his allies and smite his enemies. Vigor is a healer who uses builder, spender mechanics. He excels in the middle of his allies, where he can sustain them with powerful AoE heals. As a welder of radiant runes, he must choose how and when to cast his most powerful spells. Born into a lineage of devoted priests who worship the primordial forces of light, Vigor exhibited a unique connection to the light from an early age, one far beyond that of his peers. However, Vigor had little interest in the life of his elders and vision for him a life spent locked away in secluded monasteries, surrounded by books and murals, experiencing the world solely through the eyes of others. Instead, he chose a path of exploration, traveling across the land, seeing the world with his own eyes and creating his own stories. During his travels, he immersed himself in the study of the ancient rune carvings that spoke of the fabled Lightbringers, being said to have woven the very fabric of creation with their radiant power. On one of his journeys, Vigor stumbled upon a dusty tome that set him on the path toward his destiny. Within its pages lay the secrets of the radiant runes, describing that ancient discipline for binding light itself in order to weld it as an extension of one's will. Through his eventual mastery of the radiant runes, Vigor now taps into the very essence of light with ease, a power he uses to defend those in need from the many forms of darkness that seek to corrupt the world. His sacred duty is not only to heal the wounded, but also to strike down those who would use shadows to harm the innocent. And it is said that the light he calls forth is both a gift of life and a harbinger of divine wrath. The Dawnbreaker builds aims to improve Vigor's damage dealing capabilities while also enhancing his utility by increasing the uptime damage output, the critical chance for some of his most potent abilities, while also providing him with various methods of healing by using offensive abilities like Radiant Blast or Dawnbreaker Orb. This build leverages Vigor's already impressive healing and absorbability to create a hero that can keep everyone on your team alive one way or another. This healing-oriented build is a jack of all trades that focuses on enhancing each of Vigor's healing abilities by improving Vigor's direct single-target healing and its area of effective healing. Vigors can become the stalwart shield, keeping their team alive against all manner of threats. This build centers on the powerful Soulbrand skill and ability that lets Vigor deal considerable damage over time to both single targets and large groups of opponents. By empowering this skill, the Soulbrand build allows Vigor to remain an active and meaningful participant in encounters while remaining focused on his healing and damage mitigation skills. Vigor is a healer that uses builder spender mechanics. He excels in the middle of his allies, where he can sustain them with powerful AoE heals. As a welder of radiant runes, he must choose how and when to cast his most powerful spells. His direct healing allows him to react quickly to an ever-changing battlefield. Vigor's primary power stat is intellect. All damage and healing he deals is affected by this stat. Radiant runes are your builder spender resource, max 6. Radiant runes can be held at a time. Runes are built using certain abilities such as Dawnflare. Radiant runes are spent to cast powerful spells such as Rune of Renewal or Luminous Barrier. Many spells that use radiant runes can also generate more direct healing. Is integral to Vigor's playstyle. Reactively, Vigor relies on direct healing spells such as Greater Heal and Circle of Light to mend allies. Proactively, Vigor can use Luminous Barrier to absorb incoming damage or use Rune of Renewal to increase the effectiveness of other healing abilities. Spirit ability, Avatar of Light. Vigor instantly heals all of his allies and enters an enlightened state for a short duration. While enlightened, the mana cost of Radiant Blast, Greater Heal, the Circle of Light are halved. Radiant Blast and Circle of Light have no cooldown. Greater Heal is an instant cast. Vigor also gains 30% haste for 20 seconds. Vigor is a healer class hero in Fellowship as a dwarf who divines the true meaning of runes. Vigor wields powerful healing spells to bolster and protect his allies and smite his enemies. Vigor is a healer who uses builder spender mechanics. He excels in the middle of his allies, where he can sustain them with powerful AoE heals. As a welder of radiant runes, he must choose how and when to cast his most powerful spells. Biography. Born into a lineage of devoted priests who worship the primordial forces of light, Vigor exhibited a unique connection to light from an early age, one far beyond that of his peers. However, Vigor had little interest in the life of his elders envisioned for him. A life spent locked away in secluded monasteries, surrounded by books and murals, experiencing the world solely through the eyes of others. Instead, he chose a path of exploration, traveling across the land, seeing the world with his own eyes and creating his own stories. During his travels, he immersed himself in the study of the ancient rune carvings that spoke of the fabled Lightbringers, being said to have woven the very fabric of creation with their radiant power. On one of his journeys, Vigor stumbled upon a dusty tome that set him on the path toward his destiny. Within its pages lay the secrets of the radiant runes, describing an ancient discipline for binding light itself in order to weld it as an extension of one's will. Through his eventual mastery of the radiant runes, Vigor now taps into the very essence of light with ease, a power he uses to defend those in need from the many forms of darkness that seek to corrupt the world. His sacred duty is not only to heal the wounded, but also to strike down those who would use shadows to harm the innocent. It is said that the light he calls forth is both a gift of life and a harbinger of divine wrath. Builds. Assigning the Dawnbreaker build. The Dawnbreaker build aims to improve Vigor's damage dealing capabilities while also enhancing his utility by increasing uptime damage output. The critical chance for some of his most potent abilities, while also providing him with various methods of healing by using the offensive abilities like Radiant Blast or Dawnbreaker Orb. This build leverages Vigor's already impressive healing and absorbability to create a hero that can keep everyone on your team alive one way or another. Alacritus Healing Fellowship Cleric build. This healing-oriented build is a jack of all trades that focuses on enhancing each of Vigor's healing abilities by improving Vigor's direct single-target healing and its area of effective healing. Players can become the stalwart shield, keeping their team alive against all manner of threats. Soulbrand build. This build centers on the powerful Soulbrand skill and ability that lets Vigor deal considerable damage over time to both single targets and large groups of opponents. By empowering this skill, the Soulbrand build allows Vigor to remain remaining active, and meaningful participant in the encounter as well. Remaining focused on its healing and damage mitigation skills, vigor skills and talents and fellowship, vigor skills, skill description, Avatar of Light, skill, fellowship, Wookiee guide, Avatar of Light, spirit ability, instantly heals all allies within a large radius of you for X and enter an enlightened state for 9 seconds, enhancing your abilities. Radiant Blast deals 50% increased damage and has no cooldown. Greater Heal costs 50% less mana, is instant cast. Circle of Light costs 50% less mana, and it has no cooldown. Spirit ability, when you activate your spirit ability, you gain spirit of heroism, granting plus 30% haste and 400% mana regeneration for 20 seconds. Circle of Light, skill, fellowship, Wookiee guide, circle of light, places circle of light on the ground, instantly healing all allies within its radius for X. Vigor calls upon the powers of light to create a circle of divine healing on the ground. Allies within its boundaries are restored in a sudden flash as the light pours into them, mending their wounds. Dawnbreaker Orb, skill, fellowship, Wookiee guide, Dawnbreaker Orb, conjure an orb of light that slowly travels forward, healing all allies it touches for X intellect and damaging enemies for X intellect. Each ally and enemy touched by Dawnbreaker Orb generates 10% of a radiant rune. Vigor conjures an orb of intricate runes humming with radiant power. The orb shines brilliantly as it slowly drifts forward, burning all darkness from its path and bolstering the life force of Vigor's allies. Dawnflare, Vigor, skill, fellowship, Wookiee guide, Dawnflare deals X intellect damage to target enemies. Each cast of Dawnflare generates 20% of a radiant rune. Vigor can call upon the light to unleash a flare of divine light from above. This flash of radiant energy strikes the enemy with a sharp but controlled force. Greater Heal, skill, fellowships, Wookiee guide, greater heal target ally for X. Vigor opens a sacred tome, drawn forth radiant power and scraps within its pages. With a solemn gesture, he calls forth a burst of healing energy to mend even the deepest wounds. Levitate, your movement speed is increased by 50% for 6 seconds, and you take 20% reduced area of effect damage for the duration. Levitate gains cooldown acceleration equal to your haste, can be used during global cooldown and while casting or channeling Lightship as a ward. Target ally takes 20% reduced damage for 12 seconds, can be used during global cooldown. Luminous Barrier, Vigor, skill, fellowship, Wookiee guide. Luminous Barrier applies shield to a target ally that absorbs up to X intellect damage while it persists. The shield lasts for 8 seconds. Vigor inscribes a rune of protection into an ally, causing light to be woven around them into a barrier of divine energy. The barrier stops all forms of attack, whether forged by steel or conjured by magic. Radiant Blast, Vigor, skill, fellowship, Wookiee guide. Radiant Blast within a cone in front of you. Allies are healed for X intellect and enemies take X intellect damage. When Radiant Blast deals damage to any number of enemies, it generates 30% of a radiant rune. Vigor expels an explosive flash of divine light from his outstretched hand, healing allies in its path while searing enemies with its blinding brilliance. Remove magic, skill, fellowship, Wookiee guide. Remove magic, remove all harmful magic effects from a target ally. Rune of renewal, skill, fellowship, Wookiee guide, rune of renewal. Instantly heal target ally for X and apply rune of renewal on them for 30 seconds, causing all your direct healing effects on that ally to echo for an additional 25% of the initial healer's value. Rune of renewal's initial heal is increased by 20% when cast on a target that already has a rune of renewal active. The bonus healing generated by rune of renewal generates radiant rune power relative to the value of the heal. Vigor describes a resonating rune into the spirit of an ally. When Vigor heals that ally, the rune pulses gently, further mending any wounds that linger as the light nourishes the body and spirit. Runic proliferation, skill, fellowship, Wookiee guide. Runic proliferation instantly generates 3 radiant runes for the next 8 seconds. Any rune abilities you cast are empowered, increasing their effectiveness by 20%. Can be used during global cooldown. Soulbrand, apply a searing rune to a target enemy, dealing X damage every X seconds for 24 seconds. When Soulbrand is applied to an enemy that already has the effect applied, it triggers Soulbrand Remnant, instantly dealing an additional X damage to them. Soulbrand generates 30% of radiant rune over its duration. Vigor inscribes a searing rune onto the soul of his enemy, infusing it with radiant energy. The rune pulses painfully, steadily draining their life force with fueling Vigor's power. Throw but punish target, stunning them for 2 seconds. Can be used during global cooldown. Vigor talents master the triage. Each time you generate a radiant rune, a free greater heal of 30% efficiency is cast on a nearby ally, preferring the player with lowest health. Master triage does not trigger rune of renewal healing. Enduring light, when your circle of light heals a player, they're healed for an additional 50% of the initial healed over 12 seconds cumulatively. Epiphany, each time you cast Dawnflare, Soulbrand, or Radiant Blast, you have a 10% chance to grant you Epiphany for 15 seconds. Epiphany, your next Dawnbreaker Orb has no cost and does not trigger its cooldown. Alacritus healing, your greater heal has 0.5 seconds reduced cast time and 20% reduced increased critical strike chance. Corrupted Soul, when an enemy dies while Soulbrand is active on them, you instantly gain 50% of the radiant rune power it would have generated in the time that was remaining and trigger an explosion, dealing 25% of the damage that was remaining to all nearby enemies. Expansive Mind, your Dawnflare casts have a chance to grant you Expansive Mind, increasing your spirit by 20% for 12 seconds and replenishing 2% max mana every 3 seconds for the duration. Sacred Barrier, your allies under the effects of any absorbs created from your hero abilities take 10% reduced damage. Shimmering Brand, your Soulbrand Remnant damage also heals a nearby ally for 100% of the damage it dealt. Shimmering Brand prefers the ally with the lowest health. Meticulous Runesmith, when your Dawnbreaker Orb heals a player, 100% of that healing is also applied as an absorb shield on that player for 12 seconds. Bracing Light, when you cast Lightshaber's Ward on an ally, it is also applied to you. Magic Ward, you take 10% less magic damage. Brian, Spirited Fortitude, Fellowship, Spirited Fortitude, you take 10% less area of effect damage. Radiant Soul, your Radiant Blast adds 3 seconds to the duration of all your active Rune of Renewal. Soulbrand, Luminous Barrier effects. Rune of Renewal's healing, Luminous Barriers absorb, and Soulbrand's damage is increased by 24%. Sending Avatar, your Levitate ability grants you Avatar of Light for 6 seconds. Grand Design, your Soulbrand Rune of Renewal and Luminous Barrier abilities can now be overcharged, causing an ability to be cast on up to 4 applicable targets at once at 60% power. Requires and costs 2 Radiant Runes. Overcharged abilities, hold down the relevant ability button until the cast bar is displayed. Once the cast has been completed, the overcharged version of the ability will trigger Dawnbreaker's Legacy. Your Dawnbreaker's or critical strike chance is increased by 25%. Runic Revelations, your Soulbrand Rune of Renewal and Luminous Barrier have 25% increased duration. Beacon in the Dark, your Dawnflare and Radiant Blast abilities have a 15% chance to grant you the Beacon in the Dark, causing your next Radiant Blast to have an additional 50% critical strike chance. Following gaining Beacon in the Dark, the cooldown of Radiant Blast is instantly reset. Overview, Vigor is a healer that uses builder spender mechanics. He excels in the middle of his allies where he sustains them with powerful AoE heals as well as Radiant Runes. He must choose how and when to cast his most powerful spells. His direct healing allows him to react quickly to an ever-changing battlefield. Vigor's primary power stat is intellect. All damage and dealing he deals is affected by this stat. Flow mechanics. Healers are primarily responsible for the following mechanics: healing, damage, mitigation. Healers are defined by the capacity to heal, absorb, or mitigate damage with powerful spells. Keeping a tank alive indirectly keeps your damage dealers alive as well. Dispelling debuffs, enemies will often cast dangerous curses or debuffs on the party. Healers can remove these defined by icons outlined in blue with their dispel. Mana management. All healers use mana as a resource. When they cast healing spells, mana regenerates very slowly in combat and more quickly when out of combat. Healers need to be efficient with the ability choice to preserve their mana during long encounters. Overhealing an ally will waste mana, so use damage mitigating abilities or offensive spells when allies are full health. Healer tips: use offensive abilities when the party does not need healing. Every bit of damage counts. Use party frames above the ability bar by default to quickly assess and select party members to heal. By default, all healers default to casting heals on mouse over target allies. Healers shouldn't forget to heal themselves. A dead healer typically leads to a dead party. Your mechanics: Vigor is a ranged hero and fights mainly from a distance. He casts most of his abilities. Enemies need to be selected within range in front of him. For offensive abilities, allies generally only need to be within range and be targeted for healing abilities. Vigor's unique hero mechanics: Radiant runes are your builder spend a resource. Max 6 radiant runes can be held at a time. Runes are built using certain abilities such as Dawn Flare. Radiant runes are spent to cast powerful spells such as Rune of Renewal or Luminous Barrier. Many spells that use radiant runes can also generate more. Direct healing is integral to Vigor's playstyle. Reactively, Vigor relies on direct healing spells such as Greater Heal and Circle of Light to mend allies. Proactively, Vigor can use Luminous Barrier to absorb incoming damage or use Rune of Renewal to increase the effectiveness of other healing abilities. Spirit ability: Avatar of Light. Vigor instantly heals all his allies and enters an enlightened state for a short duration. While enlightened, the mana cost of Radiant Blast, Greater Heal, and Circle of Light are halved. Radiant Blast and Circle of Light have no cooldown. Greater Heal is instant cast. Vigor also gains 30% haste for 20 seconds. Vigor tips: repeatedly cast Dawn Flare on enemies to generate the Radiant runes. You'll need to support allies. Use Radiant Rune Spenders before you generate more than you can use. Radiant Rune Spenders are best used in certain situations. Luminous Barrier is useful to prevent an ally from taking damage. Rune of Renewal is good at amplifying healing when all is taking a lot of damage. Slow brand deals damage over time, but also returns its cost over its duration if the target survives long enough. Dawnbreaker Orb is incredibly powerful when you hit multiple enemies and allies. Encourage your allies to stay nearby to maximize the value of Radiant Blast and Circle of Light. Be careful which direction you are facing when you cast Radiant Blast or Dawnbreaker Orb. Be sure to hit your allies and enemies in combat. Avoid hitting enemies outside of combat that you could accidentally draw into the fight. Man of the light, dressed in white, man of the light. Completely renewed in Avatar of Light, divine saints that rapidly write with a calligraphic pen as opposed to type. Love to write runic design, symbols and environmental design with symbolic psychology in mind. A man of the light with written runes, more refined, writing in order to prophesy and divine. An oracular mind, holy and divine, white and wise, sanctified, the wisdom of high wizarding society, designing brand new symbols of consciousness entirely. The grim and bloom of prophetic cartoons, animated legends and zoom. Heroes overcome the doom, flying by, archangels graze the sky, archangelic diamond minds on the flyby. The goddesses of light all start to rhyme and prophesy. Only a man of the light is wise, that's the Jedi. With radiant runes spoken with vigor, we meditate in fellowship. Man of the light, dressed in white, man of the light. One priest per 5, otherwise, light side, day aside. Only priests are wise, with holy vigor in the mind, every dreams of white and gold design. One priest per 5, otherwise, light side, day aside. Only priests are wise, with holy vigor in the mind, every dreams of white and gold design. One priest per 5, otherwise, light side, day aside. Only priests are wise, with holy vigor in the mind, every dreams of white and gold design. Man of the light, dressed in white, man of the light. Man of the light, dressed in white, man of the light. One priest per 5, otherwise, light side, day aside. Only priests are wise, with holy vigor in the mind, every dreams of white and gold design.